Home Gas Test Kitchen Season 2. Concept is for us to honor those on the front line. Normally you would see me smiling, but now we have a global mask protocol because of COVID-19. But for those on the front line, we want to take this time to honor them, and we want to thank Home Gas for sponsoring this concept, where the skills from the young people of the National Youth Culinary Program can be showcased, and we can support those on the front lines who work in day and night to keep us safe.
Hello, my name is Bradley McLaughlin. I am your host of the Home Gas Test Kitchen Season 2. Today I am joined by my assistant chef Layla Dixon, and we will be preparing Cayman style beef along with Cayman style beef tacos for a heart healthy option, and for a sweet tooth we'll have cassava cupcakes. Now we have the beef, and I'm going to rinse it off with some vinegar. The choice of cut that we use for Cayman style beef is bottom round. Reason being, it is a tough cut of meat, and Cayman style beef normally takes the minimum of 3 hours to cook, so therefore we chose a tough cut of meat so that it can hold up to the kind of cooking that we're going to be applying to the beef. When we have Cayman style beef, always ensure that you have fat on your beef, because this is going to give you a lot of flavor, and also this is going to give you a natural oil instead of having to use excessive amounts of other oils. And now I'm going to be joined by my assistant chef Layla, who is going to be helping me to cube up the beef. Now I'm going to be cutting it into long strips, and as you can see, the grain is going this way, so I'm going to go against the grain. This just helps it hold up better and tenderize better when it is cooking. After you cut it long ways, you're going to cut it into strips like this, about an inch strip, and after that then you turn it and cut it into cubes. Now I'm going to be putting it back into the bowl that we first took it out of, and I'm going to hand it over to my assistant chef Layla, and she will be applying the powder seasonings. Layla is now kneading the seasoning into the beef, so that each and every single individual piece gets coated with seasoning. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to finely dice the onion. Now, you don't have to worry about getting any cuts perfect. Reason being, it is all going to cook away anyways, just for flavor. So what you do, you cut the top off, lay it, and then you cut it in half. Just like that. After you cut it in half, then you peel it. So now you just want to go like this, and the strokes come all the way down, like that. And after you do that, you want to turn it like this, and you just want to go down. It doesn't have to be perfect, as I said. It's going to cook away anyway. Next, I'm going to roughly chop up our seasoning peppers. These peppers are actually not hot. They're only for flavor. What I like to do personally is I like to flatten out my seasoning peppers. Reason being is because when you flatten them out, when you start to cut, it won't move and cause you to cut your finger. That's why I like to flatten them out. And once I flatten them out, then I just roughly chop it like this. Then I turn it and go the next way. And that's all you have to do. And there you go, all done. Now we can set this aside. Right here. Up next is our garlic. Now if you're a garlic lover, feel free to use as much garlic as you want. There's never enough garlic. So you're just going to come down once again like this, flip it, and go down. That's all you need to do. For the size pot that we're going to use 3 cloves of garlic. And finally, I have here my Scotch bonnet. I'm gonna use half of this because we like spice in our life. Seeds and all is what we're going to be using. Now this is also a rough chop, so no worries of how it looks. It is all gonna taste one way. But with the peppers, I like to cut them a little finer. Reason being, when you cook the peppers, they don't dissolve like the onions and the seasoning peppers do. So I like to cut these a little finer so that you don't get big chunks of this in your mouth and have to run for water. And just give it a fine chop. That's it. There you have your pepper. So all that is going in it is the onion, seasoned pepper, garlic, and hot pepper. Alright, so now I'm going to be taking some oil, some olive oil at that. And I am going to be drizzling just a little bit inside of here, since the beef does not have enough fat to produce as much oil as I would like. Alright, now we're going to make this heat up. And to tell when this is ready, it'll start to smoke one little bit. Now when I say smoke, I don't mean make it smoke a lot, because that's a fire hazard. We don't want to burn down anything. But once you start to see a little smoke, then that's how you can tell when it's ready. If you're not comfortable with that, then you could take a piece of the beef and put it in there. When it starts to sizzle, it is ready. You can pour the rest in and start to brown it. So now this is ready. It's starting to smoke a little bit. Now we're going to take our beef. When I apply this now, you're going to hear that it starts to sizzle. That's how you know when it's ready. Now we're going to add the rest of this beef. Alright, now what you want to do is you want to stir, make sure that it doesn't stick. You can see that it is actually starting to brown already, like this here. That is what you want to see. Now on each side you want to give it a couple of minutes so that it could brown properly, and you continue to stir until everything is fully brown. And once you got the beef to brown and start to caramelize, it'll start to produce its own water. If it doesn't produce its own water, then you can feel free to add a little bit of water to it, not too much. But this beef here, it is making its own water, so we won't have to add much water to it. Now you can see that the juices are starting to come out even more in the beef, and that is what we want. Once these juices continue to come out, we'll shortly add our onions and our seasoning peppers, our garlic and our Scotch bonnet to this. And we'll give it a good stir. Then we'll put the cover on and allow it to simmer. And then we'll check it back later in about, I would say, a half an hour or so. Okay, so we have another 3 to 4 hours here for this beef to cook. So what we did was we pre-made some Cayman style beef because we don't have that amount of time. So what we're going to do, we're going to take it out and I'm going to show you how to shred it so we can get that iconic Cayman style beef. Alright, so this is our Cayman style beef. As you can see, this one was left in large cubes, but now we're going to shred it. I'm going to try to show you here that this is so tender that you literally have to do nothing to it to shred it apart. This is so tender because of the long periods of time that this was being cooked. We cooked this for about 3 hours. It falls right apart, just like that. I'm going to put the rice in. I'm going to take our measuring spoon and we're just going to press it down as much as we can. The reason why we're pressing it down is so that when we put other things on top of it, it doesn't fall. So we're compacting it because this is going to be the foundation of our plate. Up next, we have some mac and cheese that we're going to be putting on. So we're not going to lift the ring mold as yet. We're going to leave the ring mold there until we are all finished. So what we're going to do now, we're going to take our time, just like the rice. and push it down. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our Cayman style beef and we're going to put that on. So here's our beef. It's roughly shredded. We're just going to put it on top. Get that beautiful, beautiful beef up in here. No worries of the droppings. You always have to clean as we go. The plates are just like your station. You clean as you go. No one wants a dirty plate. Now, there's never too much beef, so let's add just a little more. Right here. Just like that. Now this is where I go in with my hands and I get technical. Every spot, every inch has to be covered. Just like that. Just like that. Now we have some breadfruit that I will be applying to the plate with a knife. Please be aware this is not a lemon, this is a breadfruit. So we're just going to put it here like this. With this part, it is very, very delicate. It is very wise that you take your time. And for the breadfruit, we just give it a nice little green touch, like so. And we're good to go now. The moment of truth is lifting the ring mold. There we go.
And now a word from our sponsor.
So you want to cook like a professional? Well, you need to use the ingredients that the pros use. You see, when it comes to serving up mouth-watering dishes of delicacy, the real chefs know that what matters most is the fuel you use. That's why we choose home gas. Because the difference between home gas and the other guys is the same as comparing juice and drinks mix. Nothing comes close to the original. Call them today to arrange a delivery at 949-7474. That's 949-7474. And remember, if it ain't home gas, you ain't cooking with the right gas.
The Cayman style beef is already cooked. So now I'm going to show you how to make the heart-healthy Cayman style beef taco. So the ingredients that we're going to use, as I stated earlier, are white northern beans, artichoke hearts. We substituted olives for capers. And we also have some nice organic cherry tomatoes here. So what we're going to be doing first is we're going to preheat our oil here because we're frying the capers. Instead of olives, I just thought that it was a brilliant idea to take the capers and fry them for the crispy element on our dish today. We're gonna heat up our oil. We wanna turn it down. We only wanna heat it up to 350. 350 degrees Fahrenheit, that is. Once that is up to temperature, then we'll go ahead and fry our capers and set that aside. But for now, we're going to start the filling for our tacos. So right here we have a frying pan. The frying pan is only to heat back up these ingredients, and that's what we're going to do right now. So we're going to turn on our pan. Put Put it on a low heat. Then what we're gonna do after that is we're gonna take our tomatoes right here. And we're gonna cut them into little squares. So first down, and then we're gonna come down again. And we're gonna take it, cut it into 4, and then cut it into 2, just like that. Here I'm gonna use 1.5 tomatoes. Next we have some artichoke hearts here. Now artichokes, they help to regulate cholesterol. So if you have bad cholesterol and you start to eat artichokes, the artichokes can help you to regulate your cholesterol, and it can also prevent heart disease. So what we're gonna do, these are already grilled, so we're just gonna give it a rough chop, just like so. Take them out. Give it a rough chop, just like that, and just like that. Alright, our pan is nice and hot, so we're going to turn it down a little bit more. And first we're going to add in our tomatoes and our artichokes. You got this little piece here, you just give that a rough chop. Take it off and throw it in here. And then we add our beans right here. And remove the gloves. Now we're gonna add a little salt and a little pepper, just like that. And take a little sprinkle of olive oil, just like that, to prevent the sticking. And I'm just gonna give it a little shake, a little flip, just like that. Once all the water is evaporated out of this, then we can go ahead and turn it off. It's at 370, should be good now. Now we're gonna test a little bit more. Let's see. That's the song we're looking for. Now be careful, this will plot because the peppers they have a little water in them. Now this looks nice and hot. You can try one tortilla. As you can see, the tortilla starts to bubble up. And after that, you get that nice grill marks on the tortilla. That is how you make Cayman style beef and Cayman style beef tacos. I want to say a thank you to my assistant chef today, Layla. And I want to say a huge thank you to our sponsors, which are the YSU and Home Gas. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week where we'll be preparing turtle. I'm Bradley McLaughlin, that you know that a good deed goes a long way.